It takes less than a second for a perfect plan to turn into a crime scene. Meet Will. He's been tracking this setup for 3 days. He waited for the exact confirmation the textbooks told him to look for. He managed his risk. He did everything right. Yet, the moment his money went live, the market moved with terrifying precision to do one specific thing: take it from him. If you've traded for more than a week, you know this exact feeling. It's an eerie, unsettling sensation that whispers in the back of your mind, "The market is watching me. The broker is hunting my exact stop loss." Let me validate that pain right now. You are not crazy. But you are wrong about why it's happening. This isn't bad luck, and it isn't a random glitch in the system. It is a calculated, mathematically engineered psychological trap. When that stop loss hit, Will didn't just lose $50. He lost his sense of certainty. His brain flooded with cortisol, shifting from logical analysis to primitive survival. And in this exact moment, a dangerous voice took over his hands. A voice that whispered, "Get it back. Get it all back right now." Welcome to the single greatest wealth transfer mechanism in human history, revenge trading. It is the invisible disease that destroys 95% of retail accounts. Today we are going to dismantle it. You are going to learn exactly how elite institutional traders exploit this biological glitch in your brain, and more importantly, the precise 3-step structural blueprint you can use to flip the script, turn your emotional triggers into data points, and finally trade like the house instead of the gambler. To understand how to beat the trap, we first have to understand the illusion you've been sold. Traditional retail textbooks teach trading as if it's a game of geometry. They tell you to look for support levels, double bottoms, or chart patterns, implying that these lines possess some magical, inherent power to stop price. They teach you that a loss is just an occasional cost of doing business, and that you should simply look for the next setup. But here is the reality shift. The market does not care about your geometric lines. The market moves purely on the mechanics of supply and demand, specifically driven by the hunt for liquidity. Think of liquidity simply as a concentration of orders. Large institutions, the banks, the algorithmic funds, the market makers, cannot just buy $10 million worth of an asset whenever they want. If they tried to buy at current market prices, they would cause a massive spike, destroying their own entry price. This is known as slippage. To buy a massive position, they need an equal and opposite amount of selling volume to match their orders. And where is the biggest pool of selling volume guaranteed to be? Right underneath the most obvious textbook support level on your chart. When you place a buy order and set your stop loss below support, your stop loss is legally a sell market order. The market maker knows this. They purposefully push the price down, forcing it through that support line to trigger thousands of retail stop losses all at once. When your stop loss hits, you are forced to sell your position at a discount. And who is sitting right there, buying it from you? The institution. This is where the psychological trap springs shut. Look at what happens to Will's brain in this exact sequence. When Will sees the market hit his stop and immediately rocket higher without him, his logical brain, the prefrontal cortex, completely shuts down. His amygdala, the primitive part of the brain responsible for fear and rage, takes full control. He feels cheated. He experiences an intense urge to correct the injustice. He thinks he can fight the market and force it to give back his money. But what he doesn't realize is that his emotional desperation is an actual asset class for institutions. The algorithms are specifically designed to create sharp, erratic price movements right after a stop run because they know it triggers retail traders to over-leverage and chase the market. You aren't just losing a trade. You are participating in a highly engineered psychological feedback loop designed to drain your capital. To break this cycle, you must remove all human emotion from your execution. You need a system so rigid, so mechanical, that it leaves zero room for your brain to negotiate. If a setup doesn't meet these 3 strict, non-negotiable rules, the trade simply does not exist. Write these down. Rule number 1. Higher timeframe context. Revenge trading almost always happens when you get lost in the noise of the lower timeframes, like the 1-minute or 5-minute charts. From now on, your trade direction must be anchored to a higher timeframe, specifically the 1-hour or 4-hour chart. If the 1-hour trend is bullish, You are strictly forbidden from looking for shorts on the lower time frames, no matter how much you think the market has topped out. The higher time frame is your map. If you are trading against the map, you are walking directly into a trap. Identify your key institutional zones, like an unmitigated order block or a major liquidity pool, on the 1-hour chart first, and then wait patiently for price to enter that zone. Rule number 2. The execution trigger. Once price enters your 1-hour zone, you do not just blindly enter a trade. You must wait for institutional footprints on your lower time frame, typically the 5-minute chart. We look for one specific thing: displacement. Displacement is an aggressive, violent candle movement that tells us the big players have officially stepped into the market. It must do two things. First, it must sweep a previous short-term liquidity low to clear out early retail buyers. Second, it must reverse and close forcefully above a previous swing high, creating a market structure shift. If you see slow, grinding, overlapping candles, you sit on your hands. We only enter when we see the clear, undeniable signature of institutional order flow. Rule number 3. The invalidation level and profit target. Before you click the buy or sell button, you must know exactly where you are proven wrong. Your stop loss is never placed based on how much money you are willing to lose. It is placed strictly based on market structure. Your stop loss goes exactly below the lowest point of the displacement trigger candle's liquidity sweep. If price breaks below that level, the setup is structurally dead, and you must exit immediately. No moving the stop loss. No hoping it turns around. Your profit target must be set at a minimum of a 1 to 2 risk-to-reward ratio, targeted at the next logical retail liquidity pool, like an equal high or a clean resistance level. By ensuring every trade has at least a 1 to 2 ratio, you can lose more than half of your trades and still consistently grow your account. Let's look at exactly how this plays out in the real world, and watch how this system protects you when your brain wants to sabotage you. Here we have a real historical chart during the London session. Let's apply our rules mechanically. Step 1. Higher timeframe context. The 1-hour chart is firmly bullish, and price has dropped right into our 1-hour institutional demand zone. Our bias is long only. Shorting is completely off the table. Now we watch the 5-minute chart. Notice this clean retail support level right here. Thousands of retail traders are buying this level, placing their stop losses right underneath it. Suddenly, a massive red candle slams down, breaking support. If you were trading old retail patterns, you'd either be stopped out or frantically trying to sell the breakout. This is the exact moment where the urge to revenge trade peaks. You feel the sting of a loss, and you want to fight back. But because we follow rule number 2, we don't react. We wait for our trigger. Look at that response. The market swept the retail stops, hit institutional buy orders, and instantly printed a massive displacement candle closing above the recent swing high. The institutional footprint is validated. We place our entry right at the close of this displacement candle. Rule number 3, risk boundaries. Our stop loss goes right below the lowest point of that sweep. Our target is a mechanical 1 to 2 risk-to-reward ratio, aiming for the liquidity sitting at the previous day's high. Now, let's watch the narrative tension unfold. Right after entry, price pulls back. It enters the negative drawdown zone, creeping closer and closer to our stop loss. This is where the ultimate psychological battle occurs. The revenge trader inside your brain starts screaming, "It's going to hit your stop again. Close it now before you lose more. Or flip your position to a short and make it back." If you listen to that voice, you ruin your edge. But if you trust the mechanics, you realize this pullback is just the market retesting the institutional orders before extension. Will keeps his hands off the mouse. He accepts the risk he defined before the trade started. Boom. One single, clean institutional expansion. Because Will stayed mechanical, he ignored the psychological trap, let the market structure do its job, and walked away with a clean, stress-free profit. Here is your final, brutal reality check. This strategy is incredibly powerful, but it will not give you a 100% win rate. Nothing will. You need to understand that losing trades are not a personal insult from the market. They are not mistakes. They are simply regular, expected data points in a successful statistical sample size. Even the best trading systems in the world have sequences where they lose 3, 4, or 5 trades in a row. The difference between a professional trader and a failing retail trader isn't the number of losses they take, it's how they react to them. A professional takes a loss, records it in their journal as a cost of business, and walks away from the screen. A retail trader takes a loss, treats it like a personal attack, doubles their lot size out of anger, and blows their entire account in a single afternoon. Revenge trading is a choice to let your ego destroy your wealth. The moment you feel that burning, hot sensation of anger after a losing trade, your only job is to stand up, close your laptop, and walk away. The market will be here tomorrow. Your trading capital might not be if you stay. Now that you know how to master the psychological trap of revenge trading and identify basic institutional footprints, your next step is mastering the exact zones where these banks place their money. If you don't know how to precisely draw and identify a true institutional order block on your higher timeframe, your context rules won't save you. Click the video right here on the screen, and let's break down how to map the exact footprints of smart money candles step by step. Let's keep building your edge.